Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Las Vegas podcast, and I wanted to create a video, a guide tip, more really with regards to tips and who exactly to tip and the proper etiquette associated with it. The reason I have this as a separate video is because this subject actually is the one that caught me by surprise the first time I really went to Las Vegas, and so I wanted to create a guideline for everyone just based on my own experience in terms of when is the appropriate time and who you should tip with regards to whatever shows you're at, whatever venues, whatever locations you're at, and so forth. And to start off with, Las Vegas is definitely the tipping capital of the world. So many of the people that work there don't work really for hourly wages. Instead, they work for a subpar wage with the idea that they're going to get tips on the side as well. And so be ready whenever you make a trip to Las Vegas. Be ready to have lots of ones available, and in some cases fives available, because you're going to run into a lot of situations where the proper etiquette is this person should have been tipped and then this person should not have been tipped. And we'll start off with just a basic guideline on those. For starters, coming in from the airport, the first thing you'll be inundated with are taxi drivers. Taxi drivers, just as anywhere else in the world, of course, should be tipped on there. If you go, even if you take a shuttle, it's expected that you tip the shuttle driver too. So if you're taking, let's say, the taxi, or if you're taking the shuttle, you're expected. The anticipation is that you're going to tip them, because again, the idea is that they're not working for a good wage per hour. Instead, they're just relying mainly on tips there. Now, when you get to the actual hotel associated with the casino, this is where it starts to throw people off. Yes, it is anticipated that even the person that's opening the door for you at the hotel slash casino, the person that's obtaining the luggage for you, and I guess putting it, especially if you have a large number of luggage bags, putting in their little carousel to go to either the lobby or even to the elevator, that person gets a tip as well. And it's interesting to see sometimes how the taxi drivers seem to be the ones to try to get to the luggage first, because they realize that, hey, if I do this extra work, then this person will actually tip me more, instead of, say, the bellhop slash attendant, the one that's at the front of the hotel slash casino. So if you do that, whichever one helps you out, really, you just tip them. The usual guideline I recommend on anything involving tips for taxi drivers is whatever the fee is, maybe add another $5 to it on there, and then that way, let's say if the total was, let's say, $12, make it 15. Make it 17. Or if the total was 15, make it 20, and so forth on there. It's a nice way of showing gratitude, especially if you get there within a few minutes to the hotel slash casino. And then as far as the attendants, the bellhops, the ones that obtain your luggage, the usual guideline is just to tip them maybe $2 or $3 on there. That's why, again, it's recommended to have a lot of ones associated with it. But it's not done there, folks, because whenever you actually go inside and you're actually registering your room or confirming your room, the general guideline, and this is very vague. This is nothing in terms of like an actual law or something that everybody follows by, but it's mainly under the table type stuff. The idea is that whenever the person that's confirming your stay, confirming the number of nights, you can try it out. It's worked for me sometimes, and it's worked for others as well. Whatever room you have, if you want to upgrade it to a better room, maybe a better view, maybe a better floor, maybe a better suite, all you have to do is just tip them maybe about $10 more on there. And all you have to do is just ask, is there any way I could have this room upgraded, maybe? And then they usually say something along the lines, let me take a look, and I'll see. And then if the notion is, yes, we do have that additional room on there, then that's when you say, oh, thank you so much. And then that's when you tip the extra $10 on there. $10 can go a long way on that, because when you have that extra room upgrade, who knows, instead of facing a wall inside the window, you're facing instead a perfect Las Vegas view on there, which is really worth the extra money, especially if it's if it's let's say at night on there. Also, if you go in and let's say you're a VIP like I am, it's always expected to still tip the person who is registering you in as well, because even though if your room is already upgraded, sometimes they'll throw in extra amenities. Like last time I brought in extra family members, and normal situation would have been that, hey, that room should have been charged extra because of the extra family member, but no. As long as you give either a 10, or in my case I gave $10 on there, then it was waived on there. So there's ways around it with regards to this stuff. So it's stuff that I learned from others, and I'm passing this along as well. Now, when it comes to eating in Las Vegas, anytime you go to the buffets, if you go and let's say you pay for the buffet up front, it is anticipated to not tip the person that is, let's say, taking your card or making the payment for you there, because there really is no way for them to comp anything for you right then and there. And then when the person, let's say you walk into the actual buffet place and they tell you to please wait to be seated, and that person then seats you, it is anticipated to not tip that person either, just the waitress, the waitress or the waiters who actually serve you. And the reason for this is because the people that seat you are generally, in fact, waiters themselves. They just tend, if I'm mistaken, to rotate with regards to their scheduling. And so that way, a couple of hours they're seating people, and then another couple of hours they're actually, in terms of actually serving customers. I guess it just depends on the place too, but that's been my experience. If anyone knows differently on there, or if that's not the right etiquette, post your comments below, and then that way others can get an idea as well. Now, where people do seat you, where it's anticipated to be tipped, are at the shows themselves. And this tends to be another one of those loose gray areas under the table kind of things. If you're going to a venue where there's already assigned seating, no, it doesn't matter on there, because anything involving these assigned seatings, you could tip that person that's seating you, but even if you tip them, they're not going to be able to move you up front on there. But if you go to a place where it's kind of a, let's say, come first, whoever comes first, gets the best seating, there's no assigned, in other words, then the idea is you can come a little later, but if you tip the person, they'll manage to find you a seat up close, without having to pay a higher price on there. So again, it's all under the table type stuff. Those are the kind of things that you kind of have to be careful on, because sometimes you could waste your money, other times it does make an impact on there. My general idea tends to be, sometimes there are assigned seatings in the sense that there's a general area and then there's a VIP area, but there's no actual assigned seats within each area. So if, like for example, when I went to a comedy club, I tipped the person that was sitting me down, and even though I was in the general area, they sat me at the very, very front line that is the general area, so I still got a good location, one of the best ones in fact on there. So other places where it's anticipated to tip, if the servers come out during these shows and they're ordering your drinks for you, even if it's a bottled water, that's anticipated to tip at a couple of bucks. By the way, all the other circumstances that I was mentioning, including this one, again, maybe about $2-3 every time on there. And then the final one is if you go and play the actual slots, and you have those servers coming around the slot machines asking if anybody wants a drink, if anybody wants water, coffee, whatever on there. By all means, those are absolutely people to be tipped, and the idea is you generally give $1 to $2 per item on there, I guess depending on the item ordered. Like when I get a bottle of water, I just give $1 there, but I've seen others when they order like a couple beers, they give a couple dollars on there. So anyways, just general guidelines. Again, if anyone has any other suggestions on what works and what doesn't work on there. Oh, one more item on there too, with regards to the actual hotel stay, the places that the cleaning room people that come about every night. It's up to you at this point. Myself, I like to have my room cleaned every other day on there, because it doesn't really need to be cleaned every day, but it can be every other day, and that's fine. And the general idea there is to keep a couple bucks, maybe about $3 to $5 each night, and then that way They'll be sure, especially if you ask for extra amenities like extra towels, extra soap, whatever, they'll throw it in for you, no problem on there. And you'll be one of the first rooms cleaned too, because they'll anticipate getting tipped on there too. So you won't have to worry about waiting until the last moment for your room to be cleaned. Instead, you'll be one of the first ones on there. So, all right, everybody. Again, just some guidelines on there: who to tip, who not to tip, and of course, all of this is all based on service. If someone's giving you a nasty attitude and they're not being do well, you don't have to tip at all on there. It's just always based on good service. But as far as the proper etiquette on who to tip, who not to tip, that's what this main podcast is for. So, thanks again, everybody. Take care.